Yeah, this is a continuation of the perennial gardens, but this sort of leads into the courtyard. So we spent a lot of time on the daylily selection as to size in bloom season. But then we have stands of iris throughout, so we get that bloom in March. And then, we intermix oriental lilies, coreopsis, echinacea, and and a little structure with some PGMs and some azaleas in the garden.
Yeah.
But we also, that's one of my favorite viburnums, Korean spice. And we have about 10 of them on property, all good size. And gardens are also about smell. So you hit this at that time in the spring when all of those are blooming. It is just, it's another story.
You've thought out every aspect of this place. It's amazing.
I just love the colors and how you've placed everything with different bloom patterns. I mean, you can tell you put a lot of thought into each and every step.
So we've introduced a different color of calla into here. And the other thing we introduced last year and this year is allium. And so it really becomes a fun thing in early spring. In this specimen, which is Southern Magnolia multi-trunk, so we have systems in these trees to support them against ice, wind, any type of damage, so they can't go this one. We just updated this one. This has a 8-ton system in it, so if you look up into it, all of these trees, including the Japanese maple, are all protected as best we can, because you can never replace this. You can never get to this size magnolia. And of course, like all magnolia, it's a mess.
Right. How old would you estimate this specimen be?
Over 100.
Over 100, wow.
Wow.
There's so many special trees here in this garden.
Yes.
I mean, it's amazing.
And then it became a great to put underneath hydrangeas, so there's multiple collections of hydrangeas. And this also begins to introduce the Helleborus gardens that we're using now. And we've added in about 120 Helleborus into the front. And we have more coming in this fall, some different colors and varieties, because we wanted something for December, January, and February. And it's a great show when they bloom. So we'll walk up this way.
So we couldn't come through this courtyard area without noticing your amazing collection of hydrangeas. How many different types of hydrangeas are you growing here now?
12, 15.
Yeah.
New things come out, you got to try them.
Right.
From miniature oak leaf to the old-fashioned to the mop heads to just anything and everything, and see how they do. And a specimen gets put in and fingers get crossed, and of course it's going to be influenced by the acidity in the soil, and you get a little bit different than maybe what you thought to begin with.
I love this plant right here. This, you said, was Hydrangea stargazer? I love that just lace cap top. By the way, we carried on MrMaple. An awesome lace cap. And are you giving it any acidity, or is it natural acidity that's getting the blue color with it? Natural. Nice.
So there's only so much of that you can do. So I'm more or less what is. And it's the easiest way.
You can tell the pollinators love this plant right now because they're just all over the stargazer.
Our bees coming out of the hives and other things, I mean, they'll be all over these. And there's another one we have that's variegated that is similar, but with the variegated leaf.
Nice.
So
I love the hydrangeas. We've been trying to carry more and more.
Yep.
And it's cool to come here because I don't think we've ever came and spent so much time even looking at any of the hydrangeas that you had here in your garden.
I don't think we've been here when the hydrangeas were in bloom before. So.
Well, I do have a special one to show you called wedding gown.
Oh, I love that one. Let's check it out.
So, over here is wedding gown.
Oh, I love that plant. Beautiful hydrangea. And actually one we offer on MrMaple as well. So.
It is absolutely spectacular as a double white. lace cap.
Really popular for cut flowers, I find. This one's
Yeah,
one of the most
yeah.
popular hydrangeas for that.
This whole area down here, that's a Stavaria pseudo-camellia tree that we put in.
Nice.
And then we've just added in some more hydrangea varieties down here. Because that corner was begging for a little work. There's always something begging for work.
Hey guys, can you see me? You're not gonna believe this. I'm hiding behind one of the biggest Japanese maples I've ever seen in person in my entire life. This specimen here, we measured it. It has a circumference of 13'6". It is one of the largest diameter Japanese maples in the entire world. It is such a special tree. It's definitely the champion tree I've ever seen for trunk on a Japanese maple. We're here at the Hopewood estate today in historic Flat Rock, North Carolina, to talk to you about this amazing specimen.
How old do you think this Japanese maple is?
We believe when Japan opened up trade with the U.S. and they started importing things back into Charleston, the first house was 1877. It's our belief when that trade opened up in 1890, somewhere in that range, 1890 to 1895, the tree was planted.
I know you showed me a picture of the Hopewood estate in like 1900, and this was a large specimen tree
Yes.
then. I mean, it might have been a hand drawing of it, but it was a large specimen plant.
Yeah, we have aerial photography on it for various times, and it's just spectacular.
Now, we brought the North American Maple Society here, and everybody was in shock and awe of this size tree. I mentioned it earlier, but I've been to Western Bird Arboretum, which is the largest planting of Japanese maples in the Western world, and I've been to Japan. I've never seen a Japanese maple with this much girth. I've seen taller, but I've never seen one with this big a trunk. It is something truly special, and I feel cool knowing that we're like 5 minutes down the road from you too, with this kind of beauty here growing in the mountains of Western North Carolina.
This thing's electric. You said this even goes to a bright red in the fall?
Bright red.
Now, does this tree leaf out a little bit more red also? I think I've seen
It
some
does.
photos of yours.
It starts with kind of a reddish leaf, goes green, and then give me a little bit of cool
Yeah.
weather in the fall. This thing will just go brilliant red.
I definitely had to get in here on a port. I mean, I can't imagine somebody had to bring this probably here on a ship at some point to be this size. I mean, like, wow.
Yeah, and that's how Japanese maples really got to the East Coast, was coming down to Japan and on trade coming into places like Charleston, because the Charlestonians would love this type of a tree. But that's how it got here.
But then it had to also be brought probably by horse and buggy from Charleston
You got it.
to Flat Rock.
Yeah.
So we're talking about such an
This
amazing.
tree's been on a journey to get here for sure.
That it has. That it has.
Now, how long have you been maintaining this specimen here?
Well, since we acquired the property in 2009, so it's gone through 2 updates on our strapping system. There was originally a strapping system in here where they drilled through the limb and put metal in. We didn't take those out, but we've added in a significant amount of strapping.
So your strapping is basically just support for the branches
Yeah.
because this tree is so old, just to
Right.
ensure that this tree is here as long as possible.
Right, and with snow, ice, wind, the tree moves with itself.
Yeah.
And it's not going to do this. So if you shoot up into it, you'll see how much work goes into this tree, as with any of our large specimen trees that are multi-truck.
I think this one's an important piece of just,
Yeah.
horticulture history here.
Yep.
And I'm so glad it's with someone who has the foresight to take care of it and do all these steps you're
Yep.
doing to maintain a beautiful specimen like this. I mean, it is truly special. I've hiked some of the older groves of palmatums growing natively in Japan. I've seen some massive trees. I've seen some very tall trees. I've never seen one with this big a trunk. I've seen some massively tall ones, but they pillar in size. I mean, they're small in comparison to the size of what this brings for that caliper in diameter.
It put the moss on it and the character of this tree.
Right.
I mean, you could just come out here and sit stare at
This is everything anybody that's ever done a bonsai wants to recreate right here. I mean, this tree is a living bonsai in the full-size specimen with the buttress roots, with the nabari, with the age, with the moss, with everything about this plant. I mean, it is a living bonsai in full size.
I mean, each of these trunks coming off at, you know, about 3-4 feet, each of those branches that come off
Look like a 50-year-old tree.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. This tree is truly special, and I'm so glad it's here at the Hopewood Estate where you appreciate it.
Oh.
And it's here where it can be preserved, because this...
I asked a lot of folks when we had the Maple Society meeting here. We had Talon Buckholtz, and I mean, we've traveled the worldwide looking for Japanese maples. He has as well. I mean, he's got a lifetime of travel in the world looking
and
at
so many other
maples.
nurserymen there too.
But
Carl
he
Munn.
had never seen one bigger than this. Neither Carl nor Talon, any of the guys we talked to had never seen a diameter trunk this special. So, pretty cool. Wow. I mean, this place has been spectacular. Dennis, thank you so much for letting us tour the Hopewood Gardens here and Estate. It is an amazing treasure here in Flat Rock, North Carolina. And just thank you for your time today. And what you're doing here is amazing. I mean, it's spectacular.
Well, thank you for visiting. We appreciate it. It's always fun to talk about the garden and show the garden.
Oh, I could see why this place is truly something special historically, and just from everything you've put into it yourselves. Y'all put so much work into this. Where do you get your love of horticulture from? Do you have a background in that at all? I mean, you've put so much detailed thought into so many pieces here. Where does that love come from?
Well, my wife has a farming background. That didn't hurt. And yeah, I've always liked the yard and gardening, and this property really became the opportunity to explore, experiment, and to make it happen. And that's exactly what happened. It's a labor of love over almost 12 years. And as I said earlier, it's about editing and having fun. And that's what this garden represents to me, is having fun. And pulling a few weeds.
A little bit of work, I'm sure.
I just love everything, and I love that you not only enjoy the plants for what they are, but the history behind the plants. I mean, that means a lot to me and Matt. Me and Matt enjoy because every plant's got a story behind it.
Yes.
And we love that you love that horticulture history about these plants as well. And it doesn't hurt that you've got one of the
champion maples in the world.
Yeah, one of the champion Japanese maples I've ever seen here at the gardens. And this gardens is spectacular. I really appreciate you taking time to show us around and inviting us to your home and gardens to see all the work that you've put in and all these beautiful plants.
Our pleasure.
Hey, thanks so much for watching this special episode of the MrMaple Show. We hope you enjoyed this garden tour of the Hopewood Estate. This place is really special to us, and it's just incredible. So definitely like, share, and comment below. And definitely be subscribing for our weekly emails on MrMaple. We're always adding new plants there, so it's something great to sign up for. But we just appreciate you taking time to watch this video and seeing what gets us excited about getting to visit the Hopewood Estate, because I find this place, you know, bar none, it's one of my favorite gardens to come to.
Thank you.
Take care.
God bless.
And have a great day.